Sidney Crosby left the game after just a couple of shifts last night after he was hit by Alexander Ovechkin's stick and then ran into the cross-check of Niskanen. He was down for some time and did not return to the game. His status for Game 4 is unknown. What we do know is Niskanen will not face any supplementary discipline beyond being tossed out of the game last night, middle of the first period. So he missed 50 minutes of that game, 45 minutes of that game.
55.
Is that enough of a punishment in your mind? Is the penalty in the game enough for that hit on Sidney Crosby?
Yes, I actually thought after the officials met as a group on the ice and they called it a 5-minute major and a game misconduct, my gut, and I get to watch it with every other viewer. I get to watch it 68,000 times as opposed to the officials watching it once. My view was it should have been two 2-minute minors. One to Ovechkin for high sticking, one to Niskanen for high sticking. I didn't think it was a major. I didn't think it was a game misconduct.
And as you slow it down, you're right. Like when it happened, you first of all get people going, "Oh my God, Sidney Crosby's injured." Then you go, I want to see this shot. And then for the Niskanen shot and Sidney Crosby are part of nowadays that everything's at breakneck speed. These guys are so fast and so phenomenal that it's quick. And then you look and you go, it's kind of like now you understand people at accident scenes trying to give police reports.
Sure.
And you only get to see it once. Then you kind of go, geez, that whack by Ovi. Yeah. And then here Ovi said, I was going for the puck. Well, I think the puck was a little lower. And you look at that whack and you go, isn't that what Mark Mathot got ticked off about what the Penguins did and other people do? And I know that was going on last night. Like that, this was the old Hudson's Bay rules, whatever. So we understood that. But man, Ovi had more control of a stick, took a whack that seemed to throw Crosby off a little bit.
2 whacks, really. One to the shoulder and one to the back of the head.
Yeah, and throw him off and add to where his positioning was when the defenseman, when Niskanen turned.
Let's look at it on both sides. First, the Washington Capitals side. Do you think there was any premeditation there from Niskanen?
None.
I wonder about Ovi. None. I don't mean premeditated about Niskanen. No, I mean about trying to irritate, get at him, be physical, find another way to do it.
I think Alex Ovechkin, when you talked about the speed of the game and you talked about the viciousness of the game, Gordy, I mean, I think Ovechkin was doing what he did all game long. You know, skate with his stick waist high, trying to get something done in front of the net, trying to move Crosby out, and then in moving his stick, he also hit him on the head. That's a penalty.
It was a penalty.
That's a penalty.
But there was nobody premeditated to try to injure Sidney Crosby.
Right.
No.
And that's
zero.
That answers.
And by the way, Matt Niskanen deserves a ton of credit for not dodging the media after the game and saying what he said.
Stand-up guy.
I was really impressed with that little interview that he did with the scrum.
Do the Pittsburgh Penguins then have a beef?
About what?
The penalty and no supplementary discipline.
In my opinion, absolutely not. In my opinion, the beef that if I'm the Pittsburgh Penguins is that we had a 5-minute major, we had a 5-minute power play, and we screwed it up by taking more penalties. You know, I'd be, and Mike Sullivan can say what he wants in a press conference, saying that he's got to protect his players, and you know the double talk that we get in playoff hockey. But at the same time, I would say that what happened on the ice, I think the Penguins got the benefit of the doubt on the penalty and then couldn't take advantage of it.
You know, and first of all, you mentioned about Matt Niskanen, and I guess there's so many media, you have to ask questions, but I do not know, has anyone ever answered a question, did you intentionally cross-check him to the face? I don't know. That was like the front, and he keeps his composure. I don't know who would even answer yes for starters, but I mean, that's the way the press conference started for him. I kind of like Shanny's point of view, the injury aside, which is, I'm not bluffing up. I'm saying
it's horrendous.
But if you're saying, okay, the worst part on the other side is we didn't get a goal out of it, to say, okay, Sidney Crosby got hurt, but the power play contributed to why we won that game and put a stranglehold and won the series. And maybe the 5-on-3 for 2 minutes would have been a better setup than the initial call. But again, we're splitting hairs.
I mean, at halfway through the third period, there was so much mayhem in that game. I thought the safest guy on both rosters was Matt Niskanen.
Because he wasn't in the game.
Because he wasn't in the mayhem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know the Caps are going to have one healthy defenseman come game 4.